Okay, what's going on YouTube fam? I'm coming at y'all with a video. I don't want to say it's quick. Latoya here. This is going to be a video about, human hair versus mohair when rooting. It was a requested video. Y'all, I have tried to do this video. This is my eighth time attempting to do this video, and it might be in two parts, possibly three. Because I want to give a lot of information, and I want to talk in depth about this. Every time I try to do it, like my battery died, I didn't have enough storage, whatever the case may be. So anyways, real quick background, a little bit of background information. I graduated high school when I was 18. As a matter of fact, I had my license for cosmetology before I even graduated high school. So I do know about hair. You guys know our story. We haven't been reborning for that long, but hair, that's my specialty. Hair is my thing. So like I said, licensed cosmetologist. So although I don't do hair for a living now, hair is my thing. So we're going to jump right into it. Let me get some human hair first, because I do have some human hair. The human hair that I'm going to be using. That I've been using. Anyways, let's get into it. So some of it's going to be my own personal opinion, so it's not fact. And then some of it's going to be some knowledge and some facts, some broad, you know what I mean? Or whatever. So we're going to get into it. For me, because I was asked human hair for toddlers. Like, what do you think? Do you prefer it? Yada, yada, yada. For me, I prefer human hair with my toddlers, for a toddler or for a bigger baby. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to try to explain why I prefer it, because for a realistic standpoint of view. For me, if you know, well, like I said, I prefer human hair for my toddlers, and I'll tell you why. Human hair, if you look at the shaft of human hair is thicker. It's much, much, much thicker. Now, although this is not one strand of hair, if I showed you one strand of hair, you won't be able to see it. But human hair is much, much, much thicker, and it's a lot stronger. So, realistically speaking, when a baby is born, or if you held a newborn, or you've seen a baby being born, or you've seen like a baby that's like a couple weeks old, their hair is like baby fine. It's baby fine. It's super, 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 super soft. And that will be the texture of mohair, right? Mohair is very silky, very soft. Depending upon the grade of mohair that you have, it'll be even silkier. But the strands of mohair is so fine and so thin. And this is premium mohair. It's so fine and so thin that you can't even pick out one strand of mohair. And that would be, I guess, that's realistic for like a small baby, like a 19-inch, a 20-inch baby, or a preemie baby. They would have very fine, silky hair. And technically, usually when a baby's born, this doesn't go for most babies, but it doesn't go for all babies. But most babies, you'll see that, or you'll notice that when they're born, the hair is like either bone straight. It may have a slight wave to it, and for some cases it now might be curly, but the texture is always kind of the same. It's always very, very silky, very, very, very fine, and it's not like adult human hair where the shaft or the strand is thick. So that's why I prefer mohair for smaller babies, because that's realistic. And as a child gets older, the hair or the shaft or the strand of hair, it gets thicker. It gets a lot thicker. That's like, keratin building up, or protein building up, depending upon how dark the hair is or the color of the hair is, the melanin or whatever building up into the hair shaft. And so it's going to make it thicker. So, for a toddler, which is an older baby, I prefer human hair. Now, I will say this, you do have those toddlers in real life, like a real toddler, a real baby, that will have they will be one and they still have that baby fine hair. So you can use mohair for that. Depends upon the vision of the baby or the toddler, or even the baby that you're looking for or that you're trying to create, like the ending result. So mohair can be used for that as well. I will say this though. I guess that this is like a side note, or yeah, like a side note. For instance, if you had like a real baby, or I'll use my the twins as an example. My daughter's hair, when she was first born, it was like bone straight. Both of their hairs, my son and my daughter, their hair was bone straight. My daughter, Nevaeh, her hair started to curl a lot quicker than my son's hair. And that's an indicator on what my daughter's hair would look like when she's much, much, much older. It started to curl tighter, and I knew it was going to kind of be like that kinky, curly, common like African hair that, well, not, it's not common because we have all different like types of hair, but I knew it was going to be like a tight curl pattern, like a kinky curl. My son's hair started to curl a lot later. And it stayed like a silkier texture. So I knew it was an indicator of how his hair would be, you know, older, like 4 or 5 and whatever, at that age range. And still to this day, he does. He has a really loose, it's not really loose, but it's a loose, like soft, silky, like curl pattern. Although we know we all have locks, but it's just an indicator. Anyway, that's just a side note. So that's with the human hair. That's why I prefer human hair for older babies, because the shaft is thicker, and the person that usually, or the people that donate the hair for hair extensions or for, you know, human hair, they're usually adults. So the hair shaft is going to be thicker. And that's why I prefer it. You know, it's an older baby, thicker hair. It's more real. For me, I feel like it's more realistic. I will say this though. You could use mohair. Like mohair, I see it all the time. Mohair can definitely be used. This kind of brings me into my other point. The difference between human hair and mohair. Mohair can be used for older baby throughout all the ranges of the babies. But one of the big difference between human hair and mohair is this. Human hair, because the shaft is thicker and it's stronger. You see I'm popping that, right? I'm going to use the same amount of mohair and I'm going to pop it. And you'll see that it's not as strong, right? It's starting to break. It's starting to tear. That's mohair, because mohair is animal hair, right? It's animal hair. And if you ever seen like a cat with long hair, they have very, 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 very fine hair. That's mohair. It's not cat hair, but you know, it's animal hair. So it's going to be very, very, very fine. It's not going to be as strong. And if you have a bigger baby, say for instance, a toddler, you're going to want to do hair, you know, ponytails, braids, whatever you decide to do. I would prefer to have the strongest hair to be able to do that. So, you know what I mean? So I'm not like leery of the hair breaking and snapping when I'm trying to comb it or brush it into a ponytail or braid it up or whatever you decide to do. I will prefer to have stronger hair. So that's another reason why I prefer human hair over mohair. So that's another reason. Also, I want to get into the different types of human hair. You have like, I guess like 3 categories, right? When you go to like, say for instance, if you go to the hair store, you have they're all 100% human hair. I'll just say that. They're all 100% human hair, but you have your just plain 100% human hair. It can come colored, curly, whatever the case may be. And then you have your Remy, and then you have your virgin, or virgin Remy. If it's virgin, it's Remy too. So it's a virgin Remy. So start with like, I don't want to say it's the lowest quality, but the cheapest, right? We'll say cheapest. So the cheapest kind of human hair that you can get is just plain 100% human hair. And you can get like a plethora of colors, and it'll be curly. You can get it crimped. You can get all types of hair. You can buy it, but it is processed hair, right? And there's nothing wrong with processed hair, because it'll feel good. It'll feel silky. It'll feel really nice. And it's human hair. It'll act accordingly, just like human hair, but it's processed. And processed means that it may be colored. For instance, Wet and Wavy. Somebody suggested Wet and Wavy. They were thinking about trying that out. Wet and Wavy is a really good brand to try out, and it's not as expensive as you would find like the Virgins or the Remy hair. It depends upon your store. I'll be honest about that too as well. Wet and Wavy brand is 100% human hair, but it's processed hair, unless it says on the package Remy, or not even Remy, or unless it says on the package virgin. It's processed because the hair naturally didn't have that uniformed curl pattern. Wet and Wavy usually carries a line of curl patterned hair, 100% human hair, and you'll find like a ocean wave, which is a a nice little wavy wave hair. You'll find a deep wave, which is a deeper, more defined wave. You'll find curly different types of hair. That's processed hair. It originally wasn't that way, and they probably put a perm on it to get it to have that uniformed wave or curl pattern. So you'll find that with processed hair. Now, the difference between processed hair and Remy hair, which is a step above, is that the cuticle is attached on Remy hair. When the cuticle is attached, it helps with moisture, being able to the hair being able to take moisture. It also helps with the tangling. If any of you guys have had extensions or a sew-in or anything like that when it comes to human hair and it's not Remy hair, this is a common problem. I feel across the board amongst people that have had extensions or sew-ins or anything like that. It tangles. The back of the neck is the worst part in the world, where it wants to tangle. It seems like a cat got a hold of it and just clawed it to death. It'll tangle always in the back of the neck, usually. I won't say always, but most of the time. And that's because the cuticle is not attached. It does, and then it wants to tangle. So Remy hair means that the cuticle is attached, right? And it also means that when they align the hair on the weft, it's kind of all lined the same way, and so it alleviates most of the tangling. I'm not going to say that it won't tangle a little bit, but you're not going to have the tangling that you would have in just regular 100% human hair. So Remy hair comes in all different types of brands and ethnicity. I could not say this word yesterday. I'm going to try it again today. Ethnicities. Bam. There you go. So it comes in all kinds of ethnicities, like Brazilian, Indian Remy, Malaysian Remy, Peruvian Remy, Japanese Remy. I feel like you get the point. So it comes in all different types of brands. And like I said, the difference is the cuticles attached. You will find that it will be much silkier. And you will have more picks as far as exotic types of hair. So that's that. That's the Remy. That's that second bracket that's a step above just regular 100% human hair. Then you have your human hair that's virgin. And if it's virgin, it's Remy. So it'll be virgin, whatever the brand or whatever the type of hair, whether it be Indian, Malaysian, Peruvian, Japanese. It'll be, virgin, blah, 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 Remy hair. So, and it might not always say Remy on the package, but it's Remy hair and it's virgin. Virgin means that it's completely unprocessed. Right? That means there's no chemical on it. There's no relaxer on it. There's no perm on it to add curl. There's no color on it. The downfall between virgin hair and Remy hair, as well as 100% hair, is that because it's unprocessed, there's not a large range of color. And if you think about where the hair comes from, right, in countries or places where they may need to donate hair for, tracks or extensions and stuff like that, usually they're in need because of the money. They do it for the money. And you may not have blondes, reds, and stuff like that. You may not have those options to choose from virgin human hair. There's not going to be a plethora of colors. And if you do find different colors, it might be expensive. You know what I mean? That's when it gets to be really, really pricey, because 9 times out of 10, they're getting the hair, be honest with you, they're getting the hair from countries where that's a means of, it's funding their household, I should say. It could be, it's extra funds, or whatever. So that's the difference between the different categories of human hair. Although I will say this, Remy hair, it has a cuticle, but it can still be processed. It can be colored. So you might have a wider range. It'll be silkier than just regular old 100% human hair. It won't be virgin, but it'll be Remy. It'll be silkier, and you'll find more colors within that stage or that category versus virgin, which this is 100% virgin Peruvian hair. Which that's what I'm rooting my cuddle scope with. As you can see, the hair, it comes out straight. It's the same hair. It looks straight. But when you wet this hair, it is extremely curly. It's really curly. It's a beautiful, nice, silky curl pattern. Because it's Peruvian hair. So, it's going to look like that. So that's that hair. The different categories with Mohair is that, I don't know the technical names from it, but you guys have the low, there's that cheaper brand of mohair. You'll find it on like, some sites. Then you find that, and it'll be pretty cheap. It'll be fairly reasonable. It'll be like, $6, $7, something like that. Then you'll find like that mid grade where it's a little bit silkier. It's not premium, but it's a little bit silkier. And it'll run you about, 15 to like, 20, maybe 30. And then you have that premium mohair. That's Delta Dawn is like one of the more known names for premium mohair, and I'm not going to be very specific and quote a exact price, but it'll range you from about 50 upwards to 80, even more, for a quarter ounce of Delta Dawn mohair or premium mohair. Unless you got a hookup, or you find a vendor on like Etsy or eBay or something like that can hook you up with some premium mohair, it's gonna be kind of high. So that brings me, I might make another video for the next point which will be the pricing and the cost between human and mohair. Because the cost, I feel like, varies, and I feel like there's a huge difference within the costing of these two. And this will be my personal opinion. So you guys stay tuned. If you're interested, click on to part 2, and I will continue the discussion about the difference between human hair and mohair.